Real it.
Welcome to the Look Who's Talking podcast. We're officially the worst podcast on the internet. We feature special guests that you probably won't even recognize. But that doesn't matter now, does it? Because you didn't come for that anyway. You came for the laughs, but you stayed for the company. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
What's up, guys? I'm Austin. Kind of new to this whole podcast thing. Having a good time here with my brother Kyle.
Right over here, just chilling, getting ready for this nice intro that we got for you guys today. We got a really good show, and we got a lot of interesting things to talk about today.
I think Spanky knows how to introduce it pretty well.
Yeah, he managed to do us pretty solid on that one. So Spanky's over here just chilling, but we got a good story for you guys today. What do you want to say about this guy? Let's see. So
I don't know a freaking thing about him because Kyle hasn't told me anything about this guy.
Exactly. So I'm keeping Austin in the dark because I wanted him to have this be like a nice surprise. And I want it to be a surprise for you guys as well. But today what we're going to be covering is going to be a topic that's all about automotive racing back in the classic days. We're talking back when guys were driving and they had balls of steel. Back when you had to be a man's man to drive these cars.
The music stopped perfectly right when you said balls.
It had to.
You mean when their spokes were wooden and their tires were thin?
Yes, exactly.
Like
exactly. So the big thing is when it came down to this is this guy that we found, his name's Luis, and I'm not going to give away his last name. It might be Louis or Luis. But the big
Where
thing,
is he? All I know is he's from Switzerland, so I think over there it would be Luis. But
he is. But what's interesting about this guy, so this guy is a real rags to riches, back to rags kind of story. The poor guy, I mean, he had
everything.
He had it. He was doing really well, but he just wasn't very business savvy, okay? This is one of those situations.
I mean, wait, can you show him his face? Because does this look like the face of a businessman to you?
The face of this guy. Okay, so
he does not.
This is our man, okay? This is the guy.
Sometimes I don't know if he knows what direction he's going, though.
Yeah, he's not 100% sure. So this guy here, this is Luis. I'm not going to give away his last name because that would give away the whole story. But Luis, in this picture, for those who are just listening, he's got this wonderful mustache, a nice cigar, and eyes that don't all go the same direction.
I was going to point out his fabulous mustache, by the way. So we had this argument earlier. Is it mustache or moustache? Well, in UK, it's M-O-U stash. And then in America, it's mustache. Yeah,
well,
no, it's a moustache, okay? And I'm going to stick with that.
He was quite the ladies' man, if you can't tell.
Oh, my God.
He was quite epic. I mean, this guy, he knew. But you know what? He smiles in almost every single photo.
If that helmet or hat, whatever that is, doesn't get you laid, I don't know what will.
You know, I mean, it could be that, but, you know, or it could be something like along these lines, you know, being a man driving a man car in a suit.
And the little tiny, I like how his
how
knees
many
are like
people
in
do
his
that?
chest. And he's like, yes, this fits well.
I mean, you can just imagine. Now, I mean, mind you, he raced in America, but he was not an American.
What language did he speak?
Well, from my understanding, it was English, but he was born in Switzerland. So he has quite the interesting story. So I say that we should get this thing going and start talking about our famous race car driver named Luis is how we're going to know him.
I don't have volume anymore.
There
we go. Now it came back. My mic's been messing up. Or not my mic. My head. Oh, there it goes again. Anyways.
It's the wire.
We have these little scripts right here. This is what we're going to be reading off of. So, welcome to Story Time with Austin and Kyle.
Yes. So, I'll start us off today. And in this story, we're just going to go based off of what I've basically researched about this guy. So if it's not 100% accurate, I'm sorry, but we're going to do the best that we can and do this guy as much justice as we can, okay?
Why did you put a slash between driver and inventor? That's really driving me up a wall right now.
Well, it was supposed to be together, so he's a driver / inventor.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm going to get started with the story. So this is a story of a famously gifted race car driver / inventor that was left penniless and forgotten.
Okay, real quick, first critique. When I first read penniless, it looked like penisless. And I was way more interested.
I'm pretty sure you won't be the only one that sees that.
I was like, is this man a eunuch on top of everything else?
I looked it up, though. That's what it says.
Maybe he had to make room for his much larger testicles.
That's what it is.
Oh my
so
god.
this is a. Let's see if I can show you.
Oh,
So
you had to black out his
this-
name.
Well, I didn't want to give away who it was, but this is a memorial that was made to him.
Does that say 1878 to 1941?
I believe so.
Wow.
So in this, a 1976 booklet printed for the unveiling of the Lois Memorial, I'm not going to say his last name, at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway says, Lewis excelled in 3 areas. Number 1, racing early automobiles. Number 2, designing and building fast, durable race cars.
Designing, that's a new one.
Yep. And number 3, the last thing would be improving the comfort and reliability of passenger cars.
Because it can't just be fast, it's got to be comfortable too.
Of course. But of course. So so those who knew him described him as fearless and daring, but never reckless, quick-tempered and impetuous at times, a perfectionist who took pride in his work with very little patience for the mistakes of others.
This sounds familiar.
I wonder who that could be. But he
You?
Yeah, I know, right? But he was no whiz at business. He had opportunities to become a millionaire and played his cards wrong every time. Okay? His talents made money for several auto pioneers, and his name continues to grace General Motors' top-selling brand. But Lois died poor and on the fringes of the industry he helped create. Lois was born on Christmas Day in 1878 in La Chaux-de-Fonds, Switzerland. I probably butchered that. It's
Just
quite
like-
likely I totally butchered that. The son of a maker of watches and clocks.
Oh, because what else do they make in Swiss other than chocolates?
Well, they make watches
And clocks.
and clocks.
Continue, please.
He was 8. His parents moved to... Oh, shoot. I can't turn paper because I am stupid. He turned 8 in France. He had 6 siblings and 2 brothers, Arthur and Gaston. Gaston. And they would also join him in racing. As a youth, he worked for a wine merchant and designed and produced a wine barrel pump. Later, he tried bicycle building and sold his bikes under the label Frontiac. I think that's how you say it. Frontiac. Frontenac.
Whatever, we get it.
Yes.
French.
So it's French something.
And
or
they're
another.
weird.
A name that would resurface years later in one of his automobile ventures. He moved to Montreal in 1900 and worked as a chauffeur, an occupation that required mechanical skills in those days because back then, you know, everybody drove a car. They needed somebody that knew how to work on it because they broke down so often.
And back then, it's a new invention because horses were a thing. Are you sure
Right.
he wasn't in...
This was the same time where you had to go to the front of the car and crank in order to get it to
was
start.
It like... Okay,
Like
gotcha.
yeah, these were old school cars. Like let me show you a picture of what these things looked like.
Pre-Model T cars.
Well, I wouldn't say pre-Model T, but
This says 1900.
They looked something like. Let's see. Here we go. That's 1920. Here we go. Here's a great one.
Oh wow, is that him?
So that's actually him sitting in one of the cars from back then. You can see these cars were not exactly like what the cars are now today. So when we talk 1900, I mean, we were talking way back in the day. So cars were not as common as they are today, obviously. But he moved to Montreal in 1900 and worked as a chauffeur. I've already read this. He later moved to Brooklyn, New York, and got a job as a mechanic. The infancy of the automobile industry found him eagerly apprenticed to several car makers. In 1901, at age 22, he was working for Dion Bouton in New York. I'm terrible at this. I'm sorry.
about that.
I don't know about that. And in demand as a chauffeur. Why do I say chauffeur? It should be chauffeur, but I say
Shit.
chauffeur.
But of course.
Anyway, in
And
New
a
York.
mechanic.
Yes, and a mechanic. He joined Fiat in New York City in 1902, which led to his first opportunity to drive in a race. In 1905, he married the love of his life, Suzanne Trevoux. The couple had 2 sons, and that's about all the information I could find on her.
That's impressive because back then they used to have like 10 kids.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's quite amazing, actually. Your turn, Austin.
Yay. Wow. Quite the paragraphs.
You're welcome.
I don't know how to say one of these words, but we're going to go for it. On May 20th, 1905, he drove a 90 horsepower Fiat. Are you sure it wasn't a Miata?
It could have been.
In his first major race at the Hippodrome in Morris Park, New York. The hippodrome. I always get the best image in my head when I hear that word because all I think about is like hippos on drones, not drone. So like, yeah, it's great.
Makes sense.
He won. Oh, he won his first race ever.
And here's a photo of him.
In his first year, he beat legendary driver Barney Oldfield.
Yes.
3 times.
That was this man.
Which made him one of racing's rising stars. That guy looks pissed off while still being happy.
He was pretty upset at this point, and this was actually, here's another photo of him racing alongside of a,
oh my God,
this
is
was
that a
an
biplane?
That was a biplane back, like, this is early, like 19, what was this, like 1905?
This is like right after the Wright brothers had their first flight at Kitty Hawk. I bet that's one of the brothers up there. That's Wilbur right there.
That's Wilbur.
Hey, go down there, Louise. Have a good time.
He's having fun on that racetrack.
All right.
Look at him. Look at that car. Like, just for perspective, look at just how small that car is. Look at those tires. Do you see how wide those tires are? I mean, these guys were just straight up madmen. Like,
and it's
they
on
were
dirt.
They were nuts.
It's on dirt.
Yeah, that's dirt. That's a total dirt track.
I bet they had some sweet drifting montage.
I don't know how they did it.
Luis was the most famous name, quote unquote. I don't know why that's quoted. Why is that quoted?
Name. Think of it in terms of branding.
Oh, got it.
In racing.
Who participated in the Vanderbilt Cup races held on Long Island. Luis participated in more Vanderbilt Cup races than any other driver, 1905, 1908, 1909, 1910. His name has become one of the most recognizable brands in American car history. I'm trying to connect the dots here. No way. Wait a second. I think I figured it out.
He thinks he knows who
Can I guess? Don't want me to guess?
I mean, you can guess.
Does it start with a C?
I can't say what it is.
Okay, I got it. I always wondered why this car had that name. Okay, now it makes sense.
Okay.
All right. Now I'm really excited.
Okay.
Luis, with impressive credentials, was selected as one of 5 Fiat team drivers at the second Vanderbilt Cup races on October 2nd, 1905. I can't stop thinking of why these cars that I think this man is associated with have the personality and characteristics they do, but now it all makes sense throughout my whole life because this guy lives on in these cars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep going. You're good.
During the early morning practice, where was I at?
You were talking about his race.
Oh, yes. During the early morning practice, he got into a patch of fog. And ran into a telephone pole with the 110 horsepower Fiat. Oh,
Here's
wow. He really fucked it up.
From the accident.
That is not a good one.
Pretty smashed.
He probably went flying out of that thing.
I'm almost certain that there was not a airbag or seatbelts on that one. I'm almost positive.
Major C.J.S. Miller made his personal 75 horsepower Fiat available to Luis to finish the Vanderbilt Cup race, but broke its axle on the 7th lap of the race. Luis continued to race and design race cars. His younger brothers, also skilled but not quite as good as Luis, followed in his footsteps, and Luis met fellow racer Walter Christie in 1906. Image, please. And agreed to help build a front-drive V8 race car. Why the hell would you do that?
Well, you'll see why in a minute.
So in 1906, Luis leaves Fiat and moves to Philadelphia to join Walter Christie. There he is made first assistant for the development of a new racing car with a completely new concept, namely front-wheel drive. The vehicle has a Direct-Q.
It is this.
V8
it's
engine.
It's the name of this car.
V8 engine and becomes known as the Big Bear. It reaches 191.5 kilometers per hour, a new world record at the time.
Which is insane for
Okay,
if you think about it at that time.
But why front-wheel drive?
Just it was different, and I'm assuming that maybe it was more simple than the way that they had it designed.
This is one of those times where it's like not asking should we, but can we?
Yeah, exactly. It was pretty crazy.
I can
actually.
appreciate the ambition.
Yeah.
On March 5th, 1909, Luis and his brother Arthur were hired by Buick to join Buick Racing Team, yet another GM company. I wonder who this man is. During the last 2 years of the Vanderbilt Cup race on Long Island, Luis drove his famous 1909 Buick Marquettes, one if they're named after Michigan. Clocking the Marquette, Michigan was named after a man, I believe. I feel like an invalid right now.
I can't remember.
Clocking the fastest laps of the race, nearly won the 1910 race, only to give the lead away to Harry Grant due to the front suspension failing. The Franco-Swiss driver managed to beat fate and suffered many injuries from the Vanderbilt crashes. Franco-Swiss. Franco means German, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
A Frank. Yeah.
Franco.
The Franks.
Could be.
19 in World War One. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Luis went on to race and win the Harkness Gold Trophy in Sheepshed Bay, Brooklyn, in 1917. Luis averaged 110 miles per hour during the 100-mile race, which was absolutely flying in the early hand-built cars. That's true.
Think about that.
Like 110 miles an hour in that thing?
Think about
Hell
that.
no.
Think about that.
Like I said earlier, this man was held to the ground by the gravity of his steel balls.
Well, and most people wouldn't even consider doing that in a car that they have today with airbags, seatbelt, like everything safety-wise, and they still get scared.
That's because
They did it in that. Like that. I don't even know how.
Now these were
It
men.
had massive testicles. That's all I can think. Yeah,
I agree.
that's basically it. Like, how else would you do that? I mean, you just had to not care. I mean, did you see what this man looks like? I mean, come on. Does this face tell you that he gives any fucks at all?
Does that
this
moustache
say
tell you?
He does not give no fucks
It's like,
about
I
nothing.
don't know. Here's how I imagine him if he was born in America. I'm gonna go take that car right around there, and I'm gonna go see how fast it's going down that road. You see,
Yeah.
right?
It was
Okay.
like the original NASCAR,
yeah,
basically.
NASCAR. What happened to your car? I don't know. Fucker blew it up.
Fucking blew it
All
up.
right.
Oh man,
what
where
is it?
were we? We need to start using bookmarks.
No, I got that. I got it.
Okay.
Props to Carrot Top, by the way. I took that one from him. It's on in Vegas.
Okay.
He's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that
He was
was good.
describing the difference between F1 and NASCAR, and that was pretty much it.
It's pretty accurate.
All right, going back. In this race, he had beaten some of the best drivers back in the day. Prior to this race, Luis had prominent victories at Cincinnati and Chicago tracks. Luis's racing career lasts from 1905 to 1920. During this time, he also drives for Buick and gets to know William Durant, the later founder of General Motors.
That's kind of odd. I wonder if we're gonna find out more.
How many pages are left on here? I got
Only a
like
few.
1, 2, 3.
Don't worry,
okay.
it gets good. It gets really good. So far, this guy's insane. He's a great racer. He's winning races. He's losing races. So he has his like ups and downs. He's had a few crashes. He's done a few, crazy things. He's gotten married and had kids, which might be the craziest thing of all, if you ask me. But, hey, that's just my thought on that one. But, I don't know. The guy's got an interesting life. I'll say that. The guy's got an interesting life. So let's continue the story. Lois's racing prowess caught the eye of Billy Durant.
Oh, did he now?
Oh, yeah.
Did he get a little twinkle?
He saw him down the way, and he was like, hey, Billy, come on over. So he did.
You wanna drive my car?
But it wasn't just Lewis. It was Lewis and his brother Arthur.
Oh, damn.
They were both invited to be Durant's chauffeur.
Chauffeur.
So imagine that. Like, it's not just you. You've been racing. You've been doing well. But now
Your brother's involved.
your brother's coming with you, kind of tagging along, wants to get in on your glory.
How would you feel about that?
I mean, I wouldn't care. I would be like, sure,
Oh, no. Wait.
you're going to be the chauffeur. Go
Does he
for it.
care though?
He doesn't seem to care.
Okay.
He doesn't
That,
seem to
okay,
care.
yes, that face
Yeah,
does not say I care.
The brothers appear to be close, and they don't seem to mind.
But what about their
so-
other brother?
Well, that's another story. We're gonna get to that.
Oh, here we go.
We're gonna get to that. So anyway,
Burp number 3. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. At this point in time, his other brother has not been involved in racing yet. We haven't got to that point yet.
Okay. All right.
All right. So anyway, so Durant chose Arthur for the job because he took fewer chances than Lewis. But Lewis was asked to join the Buick racing team. So he raced at the Giants Despair Hill Climb in 1909.
Is this become Pikes Peak? Or is it the same one?
I don't know. That's a good question. That might be something to find out.
All right.
Maybe we
I
should
can
find
look
that out
that up
here in
right
a little
now.
bit. Yeah, you let me know what you find.
I'm looking.
So with little in the way of formal education, Lois learned car design while working for Buick and started designing his own engine for a new car in 1909. He built an overhead valve 6-cylinder engine in his own machine shop on Grand River Boulevard.
Real machine's got 8 cylinders, if you ask me.
Well, not according to this guy, because he built it in Detroit, Michigan, the home of the automotive industry. Before it was home of the automotive industry.
Wait, I was gonna say in the home of the automotive industry in the United States, but
This is
really that's where it
1909.
began.
1909.
That's where. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So this is
Wow.
before.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That's so amazing.
Wow.
Dang. That's so crazy. So, moving on with our story. Where were we? Okay, so he's in Detroit, Michigan. He's just designed a new engine, which apparently is doing okay. And after Durant lost control of General Motors in 1910, so remember, Durant was the guy that was running for Buick, and he had control, but he ended up losing control of General Motors in 1910. He asked Lois to design a car for him. Lois was merely an engineer with a famous name to lend, not a dominant figure. Durant and Lois split on that strategy. Lois wanted
Durant really wanted a Dom.
He really did want to
Also,
dominate.
the Giant Sisbury Hill climb is in Pennsylvania.
It's in Pennsylvania.
Just to clarify. All right.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Continue.
Okay, well, now we know. Lois wanted to design prestigious, high-priced vehicles, but Durant wanted to compete on the low-end market against Henry Ford, who had just come out with the assembly line, which, made his T-buckets extremely efficient and cheap to make. So it makes sense as to why he would do that. So Lois
So you're telling me
left the
there's
company.
a rivalry here with Ford already?
A little bit.
All right.
It's kind of funny how this works out, but Lois left the company in 1913, selling the stock that would have made him a millionaire many times over. So, moving on. 4 years after starting the motor company,
This man don't care about business. He's all here to race.
he just wanted to race. He just loved cars. He wanted to make cars. He wanted to drive cars. Oh my God. It's me.
The company has become you.
Oh no. He said 4 years after starting the motor company, Durant had several assembly plants and wholesale offices in the United States and Canada. He quietly traded his stock from the former motor company that he had started with Lois and Durant, and he was selling off stocks for GM stock. And in 1916, he announced to the GM board that he was in charge. So that's Durant. Durant just took over GM essentially in 1916. Mind you, this is the same company that Lewis had decided to basically sell all of his stocks.
Isn't World War I currently going on at this point, too?
At
Doesn't
this
it?
point,
I think it
1916, I
I
believe
think
so.
it ends in 1918. Look, I got to check my facts now. Got to
Okay.
stay honest here.
Austin's making sure that his facts are correct. He's got to make sure everything's good.
Yes,
which is smart.
1918. I'm not crazy.
Okay, so yeah.
2
so-
years prior is when it started. Continue, please.
All right, well, now we know. Okay, so.
I wonder if they sold anything to the army.
Oh, I don't think it gets that deep, but it would be interesting if they managed to do that. Maybe that would have been an option for him. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Lois says that he returned to what he loved best, designing race cars.
Oh, go figure.
And in 1915, he drove a newly engineered car called the Cornelian. That's a tough sentence. Car called the Cornelian.
The car called the Cornelian.
See? The car called the Cornelian.
Excellent.
I think I don't have a photo of it, but that's okay.
At the
I got a different
Indianapolis
one.
500.
At the Indianapolis 500. So Lois, he was banned to use his own name on his cars for reasons that we will disclose later. Later, he returned to the name that he had previously used on his bicycles, the Frontenac. So that's an interesting
second,
thing.
wait a second.
See how we're coming full circle here.
Frontenac sounds like Pontiac.
It really does, doesn't
But
it?
that's not what I think he owns or is from.
No, it's not. But you're on a good track there.
I'm on the right track because I know the answer now. Once I
Yeah.
found out page 2, I knew who this was.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, what happened at this point is he basically decided to use that brand that he had come up with from years ago, the Frontenac bicycles, and now he's wanting to turn that into an automotive thing. So that's where the story continues.
I really hope you are still awake after listening this far. Congratulations. We're getting closer to the end, so please hang in there with us.
We're getting there.
And sit on down. Make sure you got a drink or need to use the restroom. But please join us again for this riveting story.
Yes.
In 1916, his brother Gaston. That's one of my favorite songs from Beauty and the Beast, by the way.
It is a good song.
Became a partner in the Frontenac Motor Corporation. Show image.
Oh shit! Hang on, I wasn't ready. You're not supposed to read that part. I'm supposed to just do it, and you're supposed to just see it, and it's supposed to be awesome.
Fronty racing cars, Frontenac cylinder heads, speed specialties and racing units for Fords, Chevrolets, and Whippets. Whippets are a drug.
Back then they weren't.
Okay.
So that's the Frontier.
Well, now I don't know if I'm right or not after reading that.
Here's an image of an actual car that they had. This is an actual Frontiac that they had designed.
I don't know if that just gave away the answer or not, but I thought I was on the right track, and now I'm kind of questioning myself.
Frontiac
That
was
last
used
picture.
in multiple vehicles. They designed the engines,
I know,
and
but
then they eventually designed these cars here. So
I know, but I'm saying that last image now makes me second guess what I thought. Okay, anyways,
okay, we'll keep
Driving-
second guessing.
driving a Frontenac race car, he competed in 1919 Indianapolis 500, finishing in 10th place. Ugh. While brother Luis finished 7th. The following year, Gaston broke the European dominance at the Indianapolis Speedway, winning the race in a redesigned Monroe Frontenac. In the process, he became the first driver in the history of the 500-mile race to go the distance without making a tire change. Wow. Following his victory at Indianapolis, he competed in several more events, winning a 100-mile match against Tommy Milton and Rolf Mulford. That'd be really impressive if I knew who those two people were. Gaston.
Just know
married,
that they were like the top
Got
cream
it.
of the crap back then. Okay,
like,
it's like
Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel.
I think more
With
along
him.
the lines of like Tom Petty.
Oh, okay, cool.
We're talking grassroots here. Okay.
Gaston married Miss Marguerite Biron of Brooklyn
Sorry, these are very
on
hard.
October 27th, 1916. Why can't we have cool names like this anymore?
I don't know. That's
And
a
who
good
the hell
question.
is she? Do you have any pictures of her?
Of who?
Miss
one?
Marguerite.
No, but
Biron?
I can get them for
Let's
you
get
shortly.
that. Let's
you
get that
you
up,
do this
okay?
and I'll get that.
In 1920, the brothers Gaston, Luis, and Arthur. They lost all creativity when they got to Arthur. So it's kind of like my family. Once they got to Austin, they're like, all right, another city in Texas.
Another Texas
Yeah.
city.
Returned to Indianapolis with the newly designed overhead cam Frontenac and won back-to-back races in 1920 and 1921 with Gaston at the wheel in 1920. By the way, full disclaimer, my parents didn't live in Texas or know about the Texas city names when they named us. We were told it's just complete accident and coincidence. So, fun fact.
I can't find a picture of this woman.
Miss. So she's like a American princess. I don't know.
Well, it was also the 1900s, and I don't think that they necessarily
Kept
took a lot
record?
of photos.
True. You don't say. Selfie. All right. Single and dual overhead cam fronty Fords appeared using Luis's own designed Frontenac heads. Gaston, now the 1920 points leader, traveled to the West Coast and entered Beverly Hills Speedway board track in Los Angeles, California. However, during lap 146, this sounds like he's about to die. It's always on a weird number like that. Gaston was seriously injured and later died when he and Eddie O'Donnell's machines crashed together on the speedway at the east of the grandstand near the close of the 250-mile race
have some
for the
rare-
1920 championship.
I have some rare photos of the actual accident.
No, it's about to roll on him. He gonna break his neck.
This is the actual.
Get that boy some milk.
He need more than milk. This one was not pretty.
I'm sorry if this is tasteless, but I don't know why it's fun to read this, but it is really fucked up.
This
that
is
happened.
photos from the
But,
actual
hey,
wreck.
Racing
so
is racing. This kind of stuff happens, and you know it's bound to happen at some point.
It is what happens in racing for sure.
Jeez.
Like okay. So that was that guy, and then let's see. That's the same one?
Wait,
I just
real quick
showed
though, you gotta say his car does sort of resemble a butt plug.
And this is the other guy's car.
No comment. Okay.
Yeah, We're just gonna glaze right over that donut.
You kinda just left me hanging there.
I just wanted to glaze right over that donut and leave that one.
Look at
where
how
it
small
lays.
that differential and axles are.
Okay,
Like,
but I
there's
just want to point out the guy's head would normally be on the top, but it's now on the pavement.
Oh yes, that's what I was clarifying in the beginning. But yeah,
It's not pretty.
I don't think he was in one piece after that. Honestly, I don't know how much those weigh, but all right. Moving on. The accident occurred while Gaston and O'Donnell and Joe Thomas were fighting to make up the half dozen laps they were behind the leaders. They weren't even fighting for first place here.
Nope.
That's the real tragedy.
Yep.
Gaston was that sounds like ego and pride got in the way, which is really sad.
They were very competitive.
Well, they have to be. Gaston was a mechanic for 2 years before he demonstrated at the 500-mile Memorial Day race at Cincinnati in 1917, where he finished third. The Gaston earns a driver of merit. When the race ended some 100 miles later, it turned out that Gaston had won the National Race Car Driving Championship on the basis of points from the previous wins that year. the posthumously.
Posthumously.
I can never say that word.
So
right.
it's
I know after they die.
Yeah.
I know that because of like the Medal of Honor and whatnot. There's usually awarded that way. Anyways, awarded champion Gaston was only 28 years old. That means he would be 2 years younger than you.
Yeah, thanks for
And-
like pointing out my age.
Oh,
like
okay.
every time we have a podcast, he's like, "Oh, hey guys, if you didn't know, Kyle's 30." Hey guys.
It's only okay.
If
so
you didn't feel old, Kyle's 30.
hey, I got it. Okay, 6 years older than me. You know, I'm gonna catch you one of these days.
It's okay. Well, you'll catch me, but I'll still be going. So you'll be like, "Oh, I'm 30 now," and I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm like almost 40. Thanks."
all right. Next page.
All right. We're gonna continue this story. Sorry about that. Okay, I guess that means it's my turn. I need to be all official.
Hey, 80's the new 40, bro.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Eventually we're gonna have like robot arms and shit. I'm all for it. Bring it on. Anything to keep me driving.
Like Full Metal.
Like Full Metal.
Have
Oh,
that,
yeah, that would be sweet.
All right.
Back to Lois. Or wait,
We'll get back
Louise.
to anime later.
I keep calling him Lois.
Call him whatever you want.
Louise.
Does
Okay.
he really care right now?
No, rest in peace.
He dies too. Okay.
Well, he was born in like 18. What did we say? 1878.
1878.
Pretty sure he's dead. Okay, sorry. We're gonna get serious now. Okay. Lois, overcome with the loss of his brother, vows to never race again.
Wow.
Lois and his remaining brother Arthur concentrate on car building and re-engineering engines and chassis of the day when they decide to get into the aviation engine design industry.
Real quick, I swear to God, if it turns out that he vowed not to race again, and then at one point in his life he's like, I'm gonna try racing again, and then that's when he dies, I'm gonna be real sad.
No,
Okay.
no, it's not that tragic.
let's finish.
It's sad, but it's not that sad. So, around 1925, Luis started taking a deeper interest in aviation, attending air shows in and out and around the Indianapolis area. In 1926, he entered into negotiations with a group of Ohio businessmen who were looking to develop a new airplane engine. Because, yes, the guy that you want to design your airplane engine is the guy that drove cars and raced cars and mainly knows about cars and has never flown a day in his life.
Hey,
That
well,
makes
the
sense.
engines are pretty similar. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
with the
going to show
exception-
you a design and you're going to see how different they
no.
are.
no, I'm saying like the type of carburetors they use is definitely different,
Right.
and the style, and that if they go inverted, there's forces at play like gravity.
Yeah. Well,
and
and
physics.
not to mention planes had only been around for 20 years.
True.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess you could say the same about cars, but still.
Mhm.
It's a real shit box, but either way.
Just like my Miata. I'm just kidding.
So
Not really.
Well, yeah. It's okay.
It's not a shit box. It has lasted this whole time.
It's a beautiful car, but anyway, back to your Miata would not be here without this man, okay? So let's
All right,
start.
let's hear this.
Let's keep going back. Okay, so in the spring of 1927, the brothers completed their first aviation engine, an air-cooled single overhead cam 4-cylinder engine.
Is it horizontally
So
opposed?
I actually have some photos, so let me see if I can. Oh wait, that's number 2.
Is it
I need
horizontally
number
opposed?
1. It is
Not. Ish.
Not.
Kind of.
This
what the hell is that?
So okay, this goes down to my point.
They're
of
taking
the
one
difference
from
bet-
BMW.
So this is again the difference between a regular engine and a aircraft engine. So this is a top-down view, and over here we have the difference. The difference was mainly the crankshaft is on top. That's the best way that I could use to explain this, because to most people they're going to see this and think, "What in the hell am I looking at?" I can tell you right now, this is the actual
faulty
diagram.
design.
Well, you would think so, and it kind of was. But if you notice, see, the crankshaft is up here it's on the top half instead of on the bottom. So all the pistons and everything is down below.
Now, why did they do that?
I have no fucking clue. I don't know why they did that. I really, you could ask me a million times. I couldn't give you an answer.
I like how the picture they have here has the propeller snapped in half, as in though the
Like,
forces actually snapped the propeller in half because they weren't working together properly.
It was just making so much power, it just ripped itself apart.
Did it really?
I guess. I don't know. I just made that
Oh,
up.
that'd be awesome. That's how
No.
confidence works, people.
Yes. You just say it like you mean it. This engine was installed in a biplane built by the Munnsville Aircraft Corps in West Virginia.
Someone looked at this and was like, I need it.
Somebody actually decided they wanted
And
it.
then this man, some pilot, looked up at the plane and was like,
I'll fly it.
Okay, how many pilots do you know that build their own
wait a
engines?
second. Wait a second. Hold up. I just read the next. Go to the next one.
So moving on to the next part. Okay, on the plane's maiden flight, it was forced to make an emergency landing because of engine trouble. I wonder why. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. That would have made for a more interesting story, but hey. The brothers went back to the drawing board, and the news of their venture quickly disappeared from the public eye. So basically, the public was like, oh, you designed an engine and they almost died? I don't think I want to fly in that. So in late 1927 or early 1928, the brothers had a heated argument. Basically just beat the shit out of each other and fought over
You
the
want to
dumbest
go
shit.
fisticuffs?
They wanted to tussle. So they tussled and they fought and they did what they had to do. And they did not talk to each other over the next several years to follow. Given the failure of the first Aero engine and the events that took place in early 1928, it would appear that the argument stemmed from the design of the engine airplane.
Okay.
So basically, it was a total
Wait. You said the engine airplane. You mean the airplane engine? Took me a second.
Airplane engine. Sorry.
The engine airplane.
So
it took me a second to get that one.
Yeah. So basically, it was just a total failure, and they decided that the airplane business was not for them. They did go on to design another engine, but there was a lot of technicalities, and basically it was
Red
the
tape.
same exact failure that happened. There's literally maybe like one or two planes left in existence with those engines still that you can find.
Really?
It has a name for it, but I didn't want to use the name because it would give away what this is. So
I've been waiting this whole time to get to this last page. Can I read now?
this is the last page, and you can read it.
I am riveted. All right. It was over a bumpy and rocky road that Luis traveled the last years of his life. In 1933, with all his funds evaporated, he and his family were forced to return to Detroit to seek a job. Ironically, he was able to find work with the General Motors Corporation as a mechanic. He toiled as a lowly mechanic on the assembly line, injured from crashes and invisible to everyone. He continued in his modest trade, a simple mechanic, once more forced to retire from ill health in 1934. His troubles continued even after retirement. Most of his drawings, records, and memorabilia that were stored at his sister's home were destroyed in a fire. His health deteriorated, and his eldest son died. It's sounding a lot like Job from the Bible.
It's pretty sad.
Luis suffered a cerebral hemorrhage and retired to Florida, because that's where every white guy retires. He later had complications from a surgery on his leg that was eventually amputated, and he died in 1941 at the age of 63. Oh my God, this poor guy.
Why is that funny? It's not funny.
No, I have a hard time. I smile when I get bad news.
It's okay.
And
I
it's
do
a
too.
defense mechanism.
I do too.
Because I don't know what else to do. Would you rather me laugh?
No, you're fine.
No, it's like every time we went to the doctor, he just got screwed.
Yeah.
His brother Arthur committed suicide a week before his 62nd birthday in 1946. Gosh, all three brothers are buried in the Holy Cross and St. Joseph Cemetery in Indianapolis. Interestingly enough, one in every 20 cars would bear Luis's name. Like 1 in 20 cars in the world? Oh, in the world.
Bear his
I just
name.
couldn't read.
Yes.
This was the story of Luis Joseph Chevrolet. Okay, so I did get it on page 2.
Yeah. You
All
did
right,
get it.
all
So
right.
here is the actual
Wow.
page. This
My
is the
entire
actual tombstone.
my entire life, everyone always said Chevrolet was French. Well, you know what? They're wrong because it's Swiss.
Well, it was Swiss. Yeah, it was a crazy story when I found out about it. I was like, wow. And it's what's really crazy about it too is the fact that
Where's the bow
a
tie?
lot of our cars are, Chevrolet, and I just never had heard this story before. Because I mean, you hear about Chevrolet, and what do you think? Like, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Ow!
No. Real quick though, this really makes a lot of sense. One though, I didn't see him wear a bow tie ever, so I want to know where that came from. 2, the rivalry of Ford, and 3, just the pure how this guy acts is exactly how every Chevy drives. It's
Yeah,
like
very much.
I'll start right. I'll take a little while to start, but I'll never leave you stranded because I'll always work.
Yep.
And I'll get you where you need to go. But you know what? Don't get too crazy because I want to stay humble. And if I break down, I'll do it at home. So you can fix me, you fucker.
Exactly. Well, and the big thing about this guy that I thought was so amazing was the fact that he had gone through a lot. He came from not a lot of money. obviously, and then he moved to Canada, and then he moves to America. And this is pre-World War I, so it was a crazy time as it was already. And then he managed to get a name for himself in racing by doing like some of the most basic stuff. He was literally a chauffeur. He was the guy driving the limo, basically, if you can imagine. I mean, they didn't have limos back then, but he was a limo driver, basically, and a mechanic. He did everything, just through hands-on experience. He didn't have any education. He was just good at what he did, and he liked doing it, so he did it.
And he tried building airplane engines, and it didn't end up working out for him. If it did, I'd be so happy. But real quick,
he did make one, and it was called the Chevy 333, and it was an actual engine, and it actually made it into biplanes. It made it into some like pontoon planes. It made it into. There was a couple different ones that it actually made it into.
So this man made the small block, the small block.
Kind of,
Wait,
not
real quick,
really.
though,
He wasn't the guy that designed he's not the one that designed the 350. Like if you're thinking like the 350 or anything like that, he's not the guy that did that. But you could say that a lot of it was inspired because he built a lot of engines that were designed to last a long time because it was all for racing. It needed to have endurance.
In addition, you said my Miata wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. I think that was a lie.
Well, I mean, if you think in spirit, in the fact that like think about it. They were driving, what were they?
The RX-7 wouldn't be here.
Well, right. But here's the thing. The Frontiac was a engine. Well, it was designed and it was used in a lot of Fords.
It's a freaking Pontiac. It's a Frontiac.
But they used those engines in a lot of Fords.
Oh,
so they were designing the heads and they were putting the heads on Ford engines and stuff like that. And then they were slamming them in other cars. So they were literally transplanting everything.
Now, I'm going to ask you an honest question.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Where did you get this picture from?
This picture? The internet.
Doesn't it look a little Photoshopped to you?
I thought the same too, but I pulled it up. It's got that is the exact plot. I think that they photoshopped it a little bit, but
because like look at where the grass meets the gravestone. It just doesn't.
I know. It's not. It doesn't. Here, I will pull up another photo from the exact spot, and you'll see.
Okay, I was just curious because I'm not the only one that can see that, right? It kind of looked a little like off.
You'll see. Like here, I'll show you the real one too.
It's just crazy to hear the history though of like a company that means so much in our life. It just makes me want to go out and buy a Chevy now.
Yeah, I believe you. Here you go. So there's the actual one too, so you can see.
Not as big as it. It looked a lot bigger in the other picture.
Whoa, there's a lot of pictures.
Also, I want to point out it's facing the opposite way as the other picture. Do you see the storage unit in the background? Then click the other picture.
Hang on.
Notice its relation to the.
There he is.
Notice its relation to the other.
Trying to see if I can pull it up, but
this is just crazy.
I
wonder why we never heard about this guy before.
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't heard about it, and but when I did, I was like, I have to get this story because I thought it was.
Where did you find it?
I found it online.
Just randomly, or you were looking it up?
I was just looking around, and I was like, okay, well, where did the name like Chevrolet come from? Like who was the owner of Chevy, or like who came up with it? And when I found the story, I was like, wow. I couldn't believe it. It was interesting. It was just something different. It's not something you'd normally expect, but...
Well, I enjoy this history lesson.
Yeah, so the more you know...
Suck it, Henry.
Yeah, Ford, you bastard. Wait a second, we're building a Mustang.
Yeah, but we're gonna...
Oops.
Well, we're not putting a Ford engine in it. That's for damn sure.
No, we're not. We're
Sorry,
not putting a Ford, but that's okay.
I had to talk like a typical northerner.
That's okay. We are technically from up north. Even though we were born in this... all over the place. Well, no, you were born in the north.
I was born in the north. However,
you were born in the north.
I don't associate with them Yanks. I'm just.
Why you say it like that?
I'm just kidding. No, I think I'm a Texan. I mean, I wasn't born here, so I guess I wouldn't be a native. But I've lived here for like 14 years now, so
yeah,
this is where I really identify. I don't know. I think I'm a citizen of the world. I love traveling. I especially love other countries too. So I mean, like, you gotta be well traveled.
I would agree.
Like our friend James. That man, he's been around the world, legitimately around the world, and he's only like 22, 23? Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, or like our buddy here, Luis.
Yeah.
He went from Switzerland to Canada to New York to Indianapolis to Pennsylvania.
I'm going to get a tattoo that says R.I.P. Luis, and it's going to have his engine, his airplane engine.
Yeah.
Someone, 333. Here you go. Here's a great idea. Put the airplane engine in a car.
Oh, well, good luck finding one. Most of them are destroyed. They didn't last long. they were a failed,
made in flight engine failure.
They were a failed attempt. But the thing about Luis that you got to give the guy credit for,
He never stopped trying.
he never stopped, and he did everything he could. And it was just sad the fact that he sold his own stock from his own company when they started Chevrolet, and wow, that was weird. And if he hadn't, the paper flew up in
When
front
you
of the
talked about his
camera,
name?
yeah, that was weird.
That was Luis. He was here with
Luis
us.
was talking to us.
Was that you, Louis?
Louis.
Actually,
are
it
you
went.
in the room, Louis?
We said Louis and Luis. It's Louis.
Is it Louis? Louis? It might be Louis. I don't know.
Let's
Could
go
be.
with Lou.
We're gonna call him Lou.
We're going Lou.
So Lou, in Lou's spirit, we are thankful for him to be here with us today.
Oh, I thought it was me
Yeah,
on
I
its
know.
own. I was like, I'll tell him.
I know Louis. If he wants to haunt us, that's okay.
Well,
We have
I would
plenty
love
of
to be haunted by. No, I don't want to say
I don't-
that.
yeah, no,
No,
we
thanks.
don't want that.
We got some weird things going on in this house.
We got too many demons.
Legitimately.
No, but it's good though. I mean, honestly though, I the biggest thing that I took from it was the fact that like he was able to go through. He had all this fame, but he was still happy. Like you could not find a picture of this guy not smiling.
True.
Like he was always had a smile on his face. He did what he loved, even to the day that he couldn't do it anymore. You know, when he was working on that assembly line, basically in a Detroit mechanic shop, being a mechanic. Like he was at the bottom of the barrel, but he was just doing what he had to do to pay the bills, and he was perfectly happy. Are you okay over there?
I'm good. I
Dying?
thought it was something hilarious that I'm not gonna bring up right now.
Oh no.
No, it's good. We're gonna glance.
All right, I
it
guess-
is not. It is not okay for the internet.
Okay, well, I think on that note, I mean, I don't really have much more to add.
Are
to
you
this
kidding me?
guy.
We're not gonna. Oh,
You got
this guy.
more?
No,
You got-
I don't.
you
I
got
don't really
more?
have anything else to add to him. But I wasn't done talking.
Well,
I
no,
enjoyed
we're not done.
I thought you were about to
talking.
shut
I'm
down the
just-
cast. That's why I was like, "Hey, man, we
No,
just got
sir.
started over here."
No, sir. What I'm
Oh.
getting ready to go into is what we like to call Austin's moment of ranting.
I don't know if I have anything to rant about.
Well, you usually find something.
wow, listen to
he
this
always
guy.
finds something to rant about.
Well, you're gonna
at
have
some
to give me a
point.
second to come back on that one.
Okay, that's fine.
Do you
I
have
got-
any? Do you have any suggestions? Because I mean, you could just fire me up real quick, and I'll just keep going with it.
Okay, I got one for you real quick. Okay, so what do you do if you're driving and a guy in a Ford Mustang decides to try to drift around you in traffic?
Pray. You said the key word, drift, and those guys
Drift in Mustang?
drift in Mustang. Well,
Yeah.
first the problem was they bought a Mustang. If you're now, there are some cool drift cars that are Mustangs. Don't get me wrong, but they have to be driven by the right kind of people. In other words, people who wouldn't buy a Mustang to go drive on the street, because
Right.
typically. Okay, again, I gotta clarify. I hate all the clarifications needed. It's very
Basically,
annoying.
if your name isn't
If-
Jeff.
If we know someone who got in an accident in a Mustang and he ended up killing the guy in the passenger seat and severely injuring the guy in the back seat, but it was because he was drinking and driving and they were all hammered. And because the guy in the passenger seat said to slow down, he got on the gas more and hit a tree at about 97 miles an hour. So yeah, if you're not Jeff, you might be okay. Sorry.
Jeff
There you
is
go.
kind of an idiot.
So yeah, if you own a Mustang from the years of, when did the Fox body start?
That was in the 80s. I don't
Okay,
remember.
let's go back even further. The ugly ass
Further than
Mustang
the
2.
80s.
The Mustang 2. That was
Okay.
the 70s, right?
Yeah, that was, what was that, like
But there was a badass.
1970
There was
to
the King
72?
Cobra and the like Mach 1 of those years, which were cool. So you know what? We're gonna go with the Fox body. From Fox body on, if you
Okay.
own that Mustang, not as a drift car or a race car for drag or whatever it may be, if you drive one of those on the street, I don't think we're gonna get along. Because typically there is a stereotype. It's not
Wait,
always
we're talking about the Fox bodies.
Fox body to now. Oh, my God!
okay,
Don't get me
okay.
started on
I
the
think
ones
you have
now.
to- I think you have to separate them though, because
Okay.
the Fox body's like its
All right,
own
all right,
little.
all right. I got
thing.
you. I got you. Okay. We're gonna. Okay.
Okay.
So here's the rant. Mustang drivers. All right.
Okay.
Starting with the Fox body. These guys, you know, it's one of two people. People who just bought their first car that don't have a lot of money, which I can respect that. And like when you bought your third gen Camaro, because it's literally
Yeah.
the third gen of Mustangs, right?
Yep, and I
So-
still have it.
So those guys, either they're young kids who just bought it, or it's the old guy who's had it for a while and now he's going through a midlife crisis and hates his wife and kids and gets in the car and drives like a maniac because he doesn't care about anyone else. and he's probably listening to like White Snake or like Twisted Sister.
Hey, I like those guys.
And he's
I
like,
actually listen to those
oh
guys.
no, better yet, he's listening to "Kickstart Your Heart" by Motley Crue. That's what he's listening to as he's got a cigarette in his right hand.
Yeah, I can see it.
Then he drifts it into a crowd. All right,
Beautiful
19.
rendition.
Next one is the S95. Is that what it is? The like Jeffier.
Yeah, then what is it, like 93 to like
Right after the Fox
98?
body. Not a huge fan. Not a lot to say about him except for they're pieces of junk. Moving on.
Yep.
All right.
We're just gonna skip that one.
The next generation is probably the second worst Mustang generation for people who drive it. I haven't
Okay.
gotten to the first.
And what's
The
that?
second worst because it's always high schoolers driving it. Or
Oh yeah.
and they don't know how to take care of it. They straight pipe it. They think it sounds good, especially the V6s.
I was just gonna
It's
say. I
just
was just gonna say
so
the
terrible.
V6.
And they're like, yeah, and they think they're awesome, and they're not. You're not cool, but neither am I, so it's okay.
We're all not cool around here.
It's just obnoxious. You're not going anywhere. Please stop doing it. And if you're really gonna buy that car, you could spend an extra $1,000 at most and get a V8, or buy a salvage title V8 instead of the good V6, because the salvage title V8 will be more fun than the V6, and you're not really looking for a return on investment because it's not gonna be worth anything in about a year.
Yeah. Well, I was
uh,
gonna say, or you can get one that's a V8 with a stick, and then come out to drift event and
And have
learn
fun.
how to drive a
True.
Mustang.
true.
Because I know a few guys that drive Mustangs out there that can drive better than me.
Yeah, but we're explaining these are the guys who don't use them as drift cars. These are
Yeah.
the guys who
Oh,
just
okay,
buy
these
them.
are-
These
these
are
are regular
just street
guys?
cars.
Okay, because I was gonna say, and I'm not a really good driver.
We
either.
already
I'm
clarified.
okay, but I'm
Yeah.
not good. I'm pretty terrible, actually. I'm trash.
Oh yeah, I'm not a very good driver.
Compare me to like Turk or whatever,
Oh,
and I would
yeah.
just get raped like
What-
constantly.
Hey,
I
hey
would
now,
be
hey now, that's a microaggression.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I would get boned.
There you go. That works better. Because a
get-
boning perhaps could be accepted.
Yeah, maybe I
Um,
don't know, but it would not be pretty. Okay, I can admit that I am not like the best driver out there, but I can do things. I can do things, and it's fun, and that's why I do things because they're fun.
Moving on. The another thing with that generation of Mustang though is there's like the 03 Cobra, 04 Cobra, the Terminator, also known as.
Yeah.
Those Mustangs are pretty cool. I don't really have a lot to say about those except for that you should have bought a Corvette at that price. All right.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Shots fired. Shots
Uh,
fired. Shots
we're-
fired.
Where's my Jamaican fire alarm?
Well, it's not working for some reason.
Damn. All right. All right. There we go.
You're probably gonna get 100 of those now.
Wow.
It freaked out on me. I was trying to help. I was trying to hook you up. There you go.
Now I understand why they use that sound over there. Because if I heard that without expecting it, I'd be terrified. Woo.
Your reaction was priceless.
It's loud.
Oh man, that was beautiful. That
The
was
number-
that was so beautiful. I didn't even plan that second one. It just kind of went off. It was a little premature.
It's okay to be premature sometimes.
Well, it was late and then it was premature.
Okay.
It was delayed.
Just like the period was late, the baby was premature.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hot.
Why? Okay, the worst generation of Mustang driver has to be the 2010 to like the 2000 and
Why?
whatever the new body style is, because those guys are actually all right. Oh, there goes my mic again. I can't hear myself.
Oh no! Did you pull the
anyways.
cord?
No, it's there it goes again. All right, we're good. It's
Damn.
because those generations, the freaking all I've seen around here is you just straight up douches driving them, man. Like
Just
like
douche.
usually it's like high school kids, rich high school kids. Like rich high school kids driving them. The ones who actually pay for it themselves probably don't drive the same way as the ones who got it for free from their parents, right?
Right.
Mostly because where we're at in town, and like the people who I see driving them just make me insane because they think they know how to drive, then they get the V8 Mustang, and then they suddenly think they're Ken Block, and they're not Ken Block. because they can't drive for shit and end up either running into people, curbs, barriers, drinking and driving. Well, that's really any car.
Yeah.
Can't really hold that one against them. But then the dudes themselves are like, you ask them a question about their car and they get super defensive immediately and think they know everything. And then they don't. And then they try to lie about their car. And then they're wrong. Or like, remember when we went to Cars and Coffee that one time? And I remember there was a kid, he was like probably 17. And his Mustang, it's a V6 Mustang from that generation. And says Hoonigan right on the front.
Oh, you're talking about that one, the car show that we went to.
Yeah, it's on.
Yeah,
like, I wish
that.
we were filming at the time. We weren't, though.
No, I got the picture of the car.
Yeah.
There's like a small little clip of that car with the Hoonigan sticker. Because I thought the car was kind of neat because he had like the rust on the side and he had the Hoonigan.
No, we're thinking about a different Mustang.
Oh.
That one was cool. That one was cool. That was the one that had the Mexican rug on the dash.
Yeah,
That one's cool.
Okay.
That guy probably actually drifts it, honestly. He had an energy wheel and stuff. But this one was the brand new, like, 2014
Oh, that's right. 'Cause he
Mustang
had the
on
whole,
the right.
he was the one talking shit about
Yes.
the guy that had a rap.
Yes.
He had a rap that was like...
No. We were talking shit about the rap.
Right.
Let me-
Okay. We were talking
Let me-
shit about the rap, but then he was saying something about how it
wasn't-
was like $10,000 or something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we gotta clarify.
Let's
this
just
story.
restart.
Okay, restarting. So, anyways, there was this guy with a Camaro, and it was a wrap. Well, we said Kyle was like, "Oh wow, that's a really cool paint job," and it was like neochrome and whatnot. And this kid walks up to Kyle and he's like, "It's not a paint job, it's a wrap." And I was like, "What's the difference?" Like, it's the same thing pretty much. It's just a different application. And he's like, "Well, $10,000 is the difference." I'm like, "Dude, what do you fucking do?" and then I was like, "Oh, okay. And why does that make it cool?" And he's like, "Because it's expensive."
Well,
So being expensive makes it cool?
yeah, it was also on the rich side of town, to be fair. Like,
I know. That's why I'm saying it's these rich kids that are
the
getting
money
these.
bags.
Yeah. Oh, and the dude who drove the Camaro, we don't know if he's cool or not, so I can't say anything about him. But his friend, the one who drives the Mustang, was annoying the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
And then, sure enough, this same kid just continues bitching and complaining to Caleb. I forgot what Caleb was having like a conversation with him.
Sorry.
Our friend Caleb was having a
Updates.
conversation. And then I just continued, and then he ended up getting in his car, and it was like one of these Mustangs, and it said Hoonigan on the front. It was V6. It was automatic. Kid obviously doesn't know how to drive it. He was just revving it, thinking he's cool. Yes, that's one person that I'm making a generalization on. However, it wasn't just him. Throughout my whole entire life with cars, it's always the guy at the car meet ruining the car meet. One of two people: the Civic guy or the Mustang guy. And I love Civics. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with Civics. If I'm gonna buy
one.
I did too.
Yeah.
If I was gonna buy a front wheel
Yeah.
drive, reliable car, or something I want to make into like a drag monster, I'd buy a Civic. However, oh my God, we all know the guy we're talking about. And that's 20 miles an hour.
The guy that's like 100% like
Oh my God.
VTEC all day, bro.
There was another one I saw.
Unicorn power, 100%.
There was another one I saw. This guy literally chopped off the roof and then put the turbo out the hood, like the full turbo, not just the exhaust.
Or they do
And
what's
like-
called a bumper dump.
Yeah, no.
The bumper dump, that's a classic.
That one's actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. The
They
one that
just
comes out
go-
the side.
Yeah,
I
just
like that.
bumper dump it right there.
Or sometimes they'll just go straight down, just right out the front.
True.
Very loud, very awesome.
I mean, I had a hood exhaust at one point. Saved
Yeah.
money, but I almost got carbon monoxide poisoning.
That's no good.
No fun. That's
You
why
don't-
it's down. That's why it's down under now.
Yeah, you don't want that no more. That's true. So what about Miata guys then?
Oh God, they're some of the worst too.
Really?
They're some of the weirdest.
Why you say
The
that?
most eclectic of the bunch.
eclectic?
Yeah, I guess that'd be the best way to put it. I mean, I am one of them. I can say that. I'm part of the community, okay?
Yeah, you are.
My first car was a Miata, and then I bought another one a year later.
How many Miatas have you owned?
2.
Two.
And then I helped
So-
Tyler on 2 of his.
Wow, that's right. Yeah, Tyler's had 2 as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm the only one that hasn't owned a Miata.
Well, you're just wrong. No,
I mean, I can't help it. I just never.
although I am
I don't
trying
really
to sell
fit in
mine.
them.
I am trying to sell mine now. I mean, you could probably fit in a normal one, not one
Yeah.
that's been caged and seat and everything.
That's true.
I mean, there's guys that are like 6 foot something that are in them. Sim was able to fit in mine when it was stock.
Oh,
He's
wow.
like 6'3", so
That's like the Afro Miata guy we see.
yeah.
We got this one guy. He
It's
drives.
dangerous.
It's hilarious because he drives around the neighborhood and he. Well,
Let's
he's
Google,
got this.
Google some images
He's
of an
got this
Afro.
like beautiful afro, and I don't know how to describe it, but he's a white guy or he's half white, whatever, doesn't matter. And he's driving this Miata, but he goes down and you just see whoosh,
It's so
and
majestic.
it's so majestic because he's tall too, so he sits like above the line of the windshield. So it's like you just see whoosh,
Excuse me.
and he's just smiling. He's so happy. He's just like, yeah, this is the best thing ever. Just yeah, I love this Miata.
He's always smiling.
Oh, he's always in a good mood. So we know him as the Afro Miata, and every time we see him, he drives like a NC Miata, and it's just the happiest guy I've ever seen driving a Miata. You know, but that's true about any Miata. Like, have you ever noticed a Miata guy that looks angry when he's driving his Miata?
He's very angry when he doesn't get his haircut on time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's true, but I don't know. I always thought that they were pretty interesting. They're fun cars. I could see why people buy them. They're cheap. They don't cost a lot of money to maintain. I mean, they're not bad. But you could also say the same thing about a Mustang. It just seems like Mustang attracts a lot of the like douches, you know, the Brads of
The gym
bunch.
bros. The gym bros are car
Yeah,
guys.
The gym bros, the Brads, the
Chads.
Chads,
The Zacks.
the full Chads.
Can't forget the Zacks.
the Zacks.
The Zacks are
we
the
don't
worst.
we don't know any of these people by name personally. I'm just calling out names that
We
are
do know a
typically-
Brad.
We do know a Brad?
Yeah, he owned a Mustang, then he bought a
Oh,
Camaro.
you're right. We did know a Brad.
And you know what? He
was
wrecked
kind
him.
of-
And he was a douche.
he was basically what we were describing.
We
People
got.
mistake us for douches sometimes, though. Honestly, we get mistaken for quite a bit.
That's just because how we look.
We get mistaken for the typical gym bro.
That's right, because I'm an
douche.
asshole.
No, you're not an asshole.
I've really got a nice heart, guys, but you got to get to know me.
Yeah,
Then you'll really get a heart on for me.
Oh God.
but
Hey, what's an elephant and a snake sound like when they fall out of a tree? Ba-dum.
That's such a good joke.
Mm.
Gotta love the puns. That's true though. You know, it's funny how that works. I really enjoy driving the Miata when I get the chance to. It's the only problem is when I drive, it's like I got the steering wheel here, and then like my
You look like
nuts,
our man,
I
Luis.
gotta drive it with my nuts pretty much because I don't fit in that car very well.
You look like our man Louie when he's driving his Frontenac.
Yeah, pretty much. Where is it? Here it is. I'm gonna pull it up. This is a picture of me driving. This is a picture of me driving
Accurate.
a Miata. I have like literally, I have the I got the steering wheel basically rubbing on my nuts because that's the only way I can steer. You know, I gotta have two hands on the wheel and then the other one just rubbing myself raw. It's just not a fun time.
I rub myself raw in
It's
other
just
ways.
not fun.
Why do we always brush over the nasty shit every time? I say a funny joke and we brush over it, and then
Wait, what'd
people
you
think it's
say?
serious. I said just like I do in other ways. Oh man,
Oh my God.
no, I'm just really excited to. I don't know. I'm trying to sell the Miata now
Oh,
because I want to put more effort into the Mustang, the BMW, the RX-7, and like everything else.
We have too many
But,
projects.
Yeah, and I don't have the money to maintain the Miata all the time. And
Yeah.
the amount of I gotta learn how to put my time and effort where I want it. And I've had the Miata for so long, it's kind of like I got to the point where I don't really want to work on it. And that's kind of when I'm like, okay, well, when you drive, you're gonna break it, and if you're not gonna want to work on it, it's not gonna work. And if it doesn't work, you're never gonna drive it, and then it's just gonna sit there and rot. So I'd rather give it to someone who wants it. So
This is
It's
a prime
posted on
example.
Craigslist.
This is a prime example of what overthinking it looks like.
like what?
You.
Oh. No, there's a picture of a puppy and he's behind a gate and he's like on top of it. But he's like big enough like he could
Yeah.
jump over it, and and he's just like getting nervous looking around, and he says, "This is a prime example of what overthinking is." And I'm
That's
like, wow,
true.
I didn't need such a personal attack, asshole meme.
That's what we do. It's all good though. I love how all I had to do is mention Mustangs and I got you on like some
Hey,
random
hey, man, I
tangent.
tell you,
I
it's
told
one
you
button.
it's easy.
It's one button.
It's really easy to get him going. Super easy.
you know what really grinds my gears?
That's what we need. We need a what grinds my gears segment. We're gonna have to make.
When
that for
people
the
think
next
that
one.
when I'm wearing my Blackhawks jersey, that it's a Redskins jersey, I'm like, does this look like a football jersey to you? Are you fucking with me?
I
Are
don't
you
know.
serious?
It's hard to tell if you don't.
Do these
if you don't watch
shamrocks?
hockey.
Do these shamrocks look like a fucking football to you?
Mm-mm.
No, no, they don't.
Not one bit. No,
Thank
sir.
you.
I totally agree.
Oh, man, people in Texas don't know what hockey is, and it makes me really sad. Because like I can't even talk about it. There's no one to talk. That's the one sport outside of motorsports that I care about.
Is there any hockey fans that watch this?
Oh well, you see, we don't have any fans.
Well, I know, I'm just saying. Is there anybody out there that likes hockey?
They would know how to pronounce these names.
And if you do,
If you do,
go Blackhawks. No, but I think that's pretty good. I was trying to think if there's anything else. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
I wish we could find more people who make airplane engines
Well,
and learn more about airplane stuff.
I'll introduce you to them. It's called Boeing and Lockheed Martin.
I don't even know their story, except for I think it's Boeing's CEO is now our acting Secretary of Defense. That's
Oh.
creative.
That's interesting.
Yeah, the Honorable Patrick M. Shanahan.
Well, maybe that'll be one of our next stories we'll talk about.
How he looks like
We'll have to
Toby.
come up with
Can you
something.
please pull up a picture of him and Toby?
Okay.
Please.
Who am I pulling up? Hang on.
Patrick.
Let me find it real
Okay,
quick.
this is okay. So I love The Office. I was recently introduced to it. Yes, I know I'm a little late on that. And our acting Secretary of Defense, Patrick Shanahan. Oh, okay. You're gonna look up Toby first. All right, here we go.
I gotta get
All
the
right.
two pictures together.
He looks like spitting image, and it's beautiful. And that one will be good. That will be a good one. How many other people that watch the show do you think actually enjoy aviation?
I don't know. What was the name of
Patrick
Patrick?
Shanahan. There you go.
That sounds like shenanigans.
Gotta go to his president. There you go on the left.
This one.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
I'm not kidding, man. All
Oh,
right.
shoot.
all right.
I don't
Is
want.
there
I
any
don't
way to
want
like?
that one. Here we go. We're gonna do it like this.
There we go. Oh my
Scheisender
goodness, we're having
Hosen.
some technical difficulties. I still think that's what we need to name the cast.
What Scheisenderhosen?
No, technical difficulties.
We could rename it. That's okay. We might do that. Okay, so here we go. So I got that. Now let me just pop this up here real
What do you
quick.
guys think?
There we go. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that's pretty damn
Well,
close. Look
I
at
just-
that. That is so, like, even like the
The
smugness.
receding hairline.
Look. Okay. Here's one with a smile. Oh my god. That is so close. Like, it is literally.
I mean, they're both beautiful men. Okay, they're
Oh.
just wonderful men. However, I will have to say,
That's Toby.
I just imagine
Toby.
Mr. Shanahan going and being like, Mr. President, you can't do that. Just like how Toby talks
you can't do
to
that.
Michael Scott.
That is
Oh,
that
man.
is Toby. Wow.
I really hope some of the people the people I do know don't watch the show.
Yeah. Might have to cut that little one.
This is this. I'm not saying anything wrong. You know, we just have fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how I talked that the whole thing.
That would be pretty annoying, I'm sure.
Pretty hot.
It would be hot. Maybe-
Cult.
What? Cult. It's cult.
Drop it like it's called. Drop it like it's called.
Oh man, that's too good. That is too good.
It's so delayed.
What is?
I thought you clicked the button for it to go, oh, that's hot.
Oh, I should have done that. That would have been perfect.
Oh, that's hot.
We're still working out the kinks.
Yeah, I'm a little slow on the draw on that one. You know,
You know who
because-
else was?
Nobody got time for that.
You know who else looks like they were a little slow on the draw?
Who that?
Mr. Luis Chevrolet. That dude, no, you know that man. He worked very hard
Yeah, he was.
in La Chaux de Fonds, Switzerland.
He really was. I mean, how could you not?
I still
How
love
could
his.
you not appreciate this?
Imagine
man right
if he-
here?
if
How
he-
could you not?
This might be the Miata driver in me, which also means I'm a hairdresser. So certified.
Okay.
Just imagine. Bear with me here. You trim up his mustache a little bit, right? He's got a little
Okay.
wild ones, little flyaways, okay? Trim it up.
Right.
Get him
Trim all
some
that.
nice quality wax.
For
and he
what?
would have a beautiful mustache. Like this is nice.
Oh, you're
But I'm
wanting to
saying
do like
he
that
would be-
evil.
He
like
would
the
no,
curls.
no. Just trim the flyaways. Like keep it well kept. Right now it's like all over the place.
Okay. Yeah, it is a little.
Like
bit.
he could give Robin Olds a run for his money if he trimmed up his mustache.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see it. He's a I want to say handsome, but I'm going to say burly man back then.
I wouldn't say burly. He's not very big.
He was husky as a teenager.
Really?
Yeah, he was a little.
So he
little
was
chunk.
fat.
He was a little chunk. He got that chunk.
He got chomp.
He got that chunk.
Yeah, he chomped.
He got that chunk.
I wore
Yeah.
husky jeans for a little bit back in the day. I ain't afraid. Ain't ashamed.
It's okay. I did too. It's okay. We were all big one day, and then we just got bigger. Does that make sense? I don't know. It's
What
okay.
the?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's been a long day, okay? It's been a really long day, but it's been good.
And we learned something new today. Okay. So that's
Well,
that's the
I
win.
learned something new because you knew the story.
Yeah.
and-
Okay. But everybody that's listening learned something.
Ah, we
new
learned
today.
together, guys. High five.
That's always a good thing.
How does
I
it make you
think.
feel if I rip this?
I mean, it's okay because we've read the story, so now the story is,
Gone
it's
forever.
history. No, it's history.
Oh, it's history. Okay,
Yeah.
so that doesn't make sense to me. Why they say, "Oh, it's history"? Like when they end something, like when they blow something up, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's history."
But that
Like
means
it doesn't
it's
make sense. It
immortalized.
means, but I know exactly. It's like yeah, history doesn't go away.
But it's still
Actually, it
over.
does, because if people allow censorship to keep going on all the time, history will go away. They will start censoring history. For instance, look at Cardi B and what's his name, Ozuna. Their song "Taki Taki." They now bleep out the word Nagasaki. They bleep it out of the song on the radio because it's
wow.
offensive. Are you fucking with me?
I
It's
mean-
fucking history. We're
mean,
not saying
it-
it's the right thing to do. We're not saying it's the wrong thing to do. But
it
it's
happened.
history. You can't censor history, or you shouldn't, because
That's
that's getting
true.
you one step closer to bad things.
Yeah,
That's what I want to really rant about. Fuck censorship.
I would agree. Which is kind of funny because we're on YouTube and they can easily.
That's
censor
fine.
us.
Fuck them.
No. I know. I'm saying.
They're
that-
like, no, don't say that.
No, what I'm saying is we can basically do whatever we want when it comes to on YouTube as long as
As long as
we're-
you're not a conservative.
Well, that's not true. You can say whatever you want, but it just the whole thing is they just don't want you spreading hate.
But then look at
basically.
what happened to like Steven Crowder and Ben Shapiro
Oh yeah.
on their YouTube. Steven Crowder literally got demonetized and got taken down for a while. He
Yeah.
finally got it back.
I think where that came from was because he pissed so many people off, and they all sent in like copyright strikes. They probably put in reports, and some of it probably wasn't even true.
And they still didn't stop
because-
him.
Well, it's because the system's broken, and like so many people, they can just make a claim and just, oh yeah, this guy stole my shit, or oh, this guy said this, or this is offensive.
I thought
and
he was
blah,
taken
blah,
down
blah.
because they accused him of hate speech.
Right, but think about that. There was probably a bunch of people that were saying that even though it wasn't actually
Oh.
hate speech,
I
it
see what
doesn't
you're saying.
have to
'Cause
be
it- 'cause
true
it's
for
not-
them to report it.
Because it's not based off of people. It's based off of AI and like these other things.
Right, well-
Robots and algorithms and.
That, and then they were the only way that it could have been fixed would have been through like somebody manually going in and being like, "Oh, this is bullshit," but they would have had to go through all of that footage.
And would they really want to do that for someone who doesn't agree with their own agenda? It's YouTube we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Like,
They're supposed to, but will they? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm
yeah,
just-
Logan Paul has his shit back.
Well, that's because he's the golden boy of YouTube. Logan.
Screw that guy.
Logan.
He doesn't even give good at content. Like, yeah,
He-
it, like give me
okay.
a positive of Logan Paul's content.
None. I can't think
Production
of-
quality. I'll give him that.
But he's not even the one doing it.
exactly.
He's literally just on camera. He's a bullshit, like, terrible actor.
He's got the 9-year-old army
But
behind him, man.
He's also a genius. Do you want to know why?
Mm.
You want to know why? Because it's all an act. He knows what the hell he's doing. He's
Yeah.
acting like this because he knows it's going to get the views. He knows it's going to get the attention. It doesn't matter
Can
if it's
we use a
positive or
different
negative.
term instead of genius?
Okay, he's not.
My voice
he's
just
not-
cracked really bad.
I think I triggered him.
Genius.
I think I triggered him a little bit, but what I mean is, in a business standpoint. He's looking at it from a pure numbers game.
Can we define the word genius, please?
Okay, he's not a genius. He's a business
Man.
person.
What, he's not a man? That's right, because he's a boy.
Well,
Man is an earned title.
anyway, he is a person that found a loophole in the system and doesn't care who he has to trample to make the next dollar.
True.
That's the way I'll put it.
A businessman.
He's in business. Money
Yeah.
does not have loyalty.
Mm-mm.
So that's kind of the whole thing. And he obviously sacrificed morals to make more money. That's all it is. So
I
but
don't
he
get why
sees
everyone
it-
was so upset about the whole suicide forest thing, though, in the first place. Like,
Why?
Like, what? Like,
It
I
was
get,
because
okay,
he was
it
being
shouldn't have been,
disrespectful.
yes, and it shouldn't have been on trending for sure.
That shouldn't have happened because
Because kids can watch his
Well,
content.
you know that most videos that make it to trending are selected to go to
But this
trending.
goes back to that censorship stuff. Like, should we censor certain things, or should we not
No.
censor anything at all?
Well, it just, I mean, it depends on.
I think we should
depends
have-
on the thing.
I think we should have no censorship whatsoever, but age restrictions.
Okay, but if you have no censorship, then you're gonna have stuff getting on here that's like illegal.
Well, it's the real world, right?
Well, but it's a business. They would get shut down. So they have to have.
So
some
then we have
sort
to
of
define what's up.
censorship.
Then we have to define what's a public and a private domain.
Well,
right?
it's not that, but like, okay, so YouTube, for instance, they got the guidelines, right? So they
Mhm.
say like, hey, this is what we expect.
Because they're a private company.
They're a private company. We're using their services for free. It doesn't cost us a penny. And they let us do whatever. So they're going to do whatever they can to protect their assets. So if that means censoring some of their stuff, then that's what they're going to do. But there's nothing wrong with that. It just means that, like, sometimes they might, you know, expect people to act a certain way. And
So
if
what-
it doesn't meet that,
So
then,
what would be quality control versus censorship is kind of where that comes into play.
That's a good question. So, control over censorship. I guess here's the thing on YouTube. If you want to monetize and you want to basically make money through monetization, you're going to be censored, but you're voluntarily censoring yourself.
Okay, see that I can agree.
So
yeah, that
you
makes
still
sense.
have the option to upload, like you can even upload content that is age restricted,
Yeah.
but you're not going to make jack dick. on that.
However,
Like,
if you get
you ain't going to make shit.
if you do get censored,
So-
they need to give a better description as to why
Yeah.
and give solid proof.
Well,
like,
they don't
hard
censor
evidence.
they don't censor your videos. They just demonetize.
That's
it.
what I mean, though. Is like give hard evidence as to why you're being demonetized.
Well,
not just a comment that says what they're saying it's for.
Right.
Because sometimes you'll get demonetized for something that's not true. Like, or it can be perceived a different way than what it really is.
Yeah.
That perception shouldn't be.
You want to know a funny story about that?
Yeah.
So one time I made a video and there
Us?
was
Yeah,
there
I
was
remember
a
it said
little
shit or something.
Well,
in it,
no,
right?
there was a little clip in it where I was filmed at the gym, and there was a point where I was in the hot tub and I had my shirt off, and it was like for 2 seconds. It was just
Please
the top
tell me
half,
it censored you for nudity.
and we got demonetized for nudity because of that. No joke. It
Damn,
was on
Kyle.
a different channel, and now, but
Yo chest got so big they thought it was titties.
it was because the damn algorithm was like, oh, this is nudity, we can't have this, but it really wasn't.
nipple!
I can't see nipples.
My virgin eyes!
Yeah.
They burn.
So that video got demonetized. But what was funny is like a month later, it ended up getting monetized again. So I
You're
don't
like, that's not a titty.
yeah,
That's a man titty.
That's a man titty.
That's a breast.
I was like,
disease.
I don't know no titties that got hair on them.
I
So-
do.
So you know, at that point I was like, all right, cool. I guess I can't be topless in a video, which I don't normally do that anyway, but just the fact that actually got demonetized.
I will now only work exclusively on my Miata and exclusively in nipple tassels.
Yes.
Where can I buy nipple tassels?
Amazon.com.
And how much are nipple tassels? To Amazon we go.
Are we really gonna do this? Let's see how much nipple tassels are. Here we go. I'm gonna go and
I
search
love this power to just be like, to Amazon we go. And we go.
To Amazon.
Thanks, Kai.
For what? I didn't do anything.
You're going to Amazon for me because I said so.
Oh yeah.
Nipple tassels.
You're welcome.
Nipple.
Oh.
Nipple covered. What's a nipple shield? Hold up. Wait. Hold up.
Oh, no.
Wait a second. Before you click anything.
Wait. Why does it say nipple shield?
And nipple suckers?
Wait. Nipple
Cream?
sucker.
Nipple creams?
For breastfeeding. I guess that's to help with the
Okay, we got that.
sensitivity.
What is a nipple?
What's a nipple ring?
What's
oh,
a
wait,
nipple
nippler
rings?
ring?
Nipple
nipple
rings.
God damn it, I can't talk.
Okay, nipple suckers and nipple shields really get me because all I can think is like
Nipple
two
suckers?
shields
Shoot.
blocking nipples for like
I don't
want to
clip. I don't want to clip. I'm gonna take it off the screen.
Okay,
We're
take
gonna
it off.
click
All
it.
right, let's
okay,
go for
what
it.
are we clicking on?
We're learning together. Nipple suckers.
Nipple suckers.
What the fuck are they?
Oh,
It's a breast pump. It's a breast pump.
I'm not gonna show this, but it's a breast pump.
Why? What is that?
What?
Oh. Oh my god. Okay,
That
so
is not a breast pump. that
Can I read what it is?
That was
Let me
not,
read.
That was not a breast pump.
Is it going on the image? Can I read what it is?
I'm not putting that up there.
Okay, all right, never mind.
You can read it.
Oh, okay, cool.
You
It's
can
a
read
tongue
it.
vibrant oral tongue simulator, waterproof, 30 frequency vibration wand.
There's even more to that description, but either way, you get the idea.
What the
Oh
fuck
my
is-
god.
Can we go
That's
back?
a vibrating nipple sucker.
Can we go back, please?
How did we get on this?
Go back. Just go back. We need to know what a nipple shield is.
Oh, hang on.
Because now I just have
All right, we're going
too
back.
many questions.
Oh my goodness.
Nipple shield.
Why
Second
is it-
one.
Why is nipple shield number 2?
What the hell? Oh, it's for babies.
Wait.
Excuse me.
That was quite epic, sir. Very nice.
So no. The nipple shield is actually a legit thing. So like,
What does it do?
mamas put it on their nipples when they got a breastfeeding kid that keeps biting their titty too hard.
Oh.
So it shields the nipple
So it's protection.
from those little bastards.
I guess so, because
Hey, always use protection.
yeah, always use protection, people. Don't forget, it's important. Okay, so now that we know what a nipple shield is, all right. What was the other thing? What did we actually come here for?
Nipple tassels.
Nipple tassels. Yes, only the
Okay,
most.
those are bra. Those are for like girls who don't want to wear a bra. They're a nipple cover. They're silicone.
Oh,
see,
oh,
yeah, it's like pasties, but acceptable.
okay. Well, we're not using those because that would defeat the point.
You got rid of my E. Nipple tassels. I wonder if we have to go to like Adam and Eve. Oh, yes,
yes,
pepperoni nipple tassels, delicious.
Hang on, I'm putting that on. Hang on, here we go.
Okay, there it is. I'm gonna be careful. I don't want to scroll too far down.
Don't scroll too much.
I'm just gonna. Okay, so if these are our options, what color would you like?
I would like the sequin purple in the 4-pack.
Oh my God, look at
It's
that.
$15, and
That
I
is-
get 4.
Just amazing. Holy shit.
Wow. Okay, so let's see. What do we got on here?
What's the damn?
Oh,
Oh,
good thing I wasn't showing that.
It was titties.
Oh, wow.
Wait, go back down to
Hey,
the
look,
comments.
they're 2.2 inches.
That's a
pretty
big
big
nipple.
nipple.
That's them big areolas. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
look, there's instructions for how to apply your nipple
Oh, as if I
tassels.
didn't know.
You got
Hey,
to clean your
Hey,
chest
let's go
and
see the
ends.
reviews.
Oh, it's got a lot of stars. They're probably going to be wonderful.
Oh, there we
Here
go.
we
there
go.
we go.
All right, you want to read this one?
They are not guaranteed to stay on, especially if you're seriously trying to tassel twirl.
Oh my God!
Oh.
You're just sitting there, just.
That's got to be the most perfect thing. Oh my goodness. Bought these for my friend's bachelorette party gift. She was thrilled.
Oh man!
Wait, why was she?
Wait, she
why
got
was
strippers.
No, but
She got
but
strippers.
she bought it for her best friend's bachelorette. So the bachelorette, the bride to be was wearing the nipple tassels. Why was she naked when the strippers came over? That hoe's a cheater. I'm just
I mean, but it was
I'm just
with a
kidding.
woman,
I'm
so-
joking. And oh, it's true. It could maybe she's lesbian. Who knows?
Well, this was just an excellent review. Well designed.
The other guy was like, "Good." That's it. Just good.
Just good.
Love them. Such a bang for your buck.
That's what she said.
Hey, there's more reviews.
There's more? Holy crap. So cute.
They look good. Oh, we saw them all.
5
Never mind.
stars.
We got them all. Let's see. Is there
So
something
obviously
else?
those work really well.
What's
So
another review?
Let's find
Holy
one that has a
crap.
bad review. We need to find a bad review.
Oh my God.
Are those candy?
Candy
nipple
nipple
tassels?
tassels.
There's no reviews on the candy nipple tassels.
I know. We need some bad reviews. Where are the like? Oh wow! All right. Vulgar.
Yeah, vulgar. Oh, here we go. This has 2 bad reviews. Let's
All
see what
right,
this
all
one
right.
says. Here we go.
I bet they
So,
don't stay on. I bet
Nipple
that's all it
tassel cover and lace mask. Here we go. Only Miata guys would be looking this shit up. Here we go. Send me another with all the items in the package, please.
says. The nipple covers were not in the package on opening up.
Oh, somebody got ripped off.
It's cute and fun, but did not stick for long.
Wow. I wonder if that was like she was just trying to be funny because they ripped them off.
my
Or
goodness.
wow, people on Amazon, tell you what, some of the reviews, they're just,
That one comes with a carrying case.
what in the world? Tassel heart pasties. Pasties.
Pasties.
I was thinking of the food, a pasty. If you're from up north, a pasty is a delicious
Wait, what
pastry
are
treat.
these over on the left?
Those are nipples, sir.
Nipple tassels, to be exact.
Nipple tassels. Look, they got to put
All right,
instructions.
all right,
Like, I'm
we're-
pretty sure
We're
get
getting
it.
lost down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, okay.
It's $8 for me to get nipple tassels and work on my Miata and nipple tassel. Oh wow, this one had bad reviews too.
Yes.
The item is not reusable, nor did it stick properly after the first use. Waste of money. What were you expecting buying nipple tassels off of Amazon.com?
Yeah, how many times are you planning on reusing your nipple tassels? Are you just going to sit there and...
Maybe it's a stripper. Maybe she needs to wear them every night.
Well, then she needs to buy a better brand.
Or get a better job.
Yeah, well, I mean, they
See,
make
do
good
make
money.
Yeah, good money.
I'm
That's
just
true.
saying.
That's true.
Respect to all the strippers out there. We love you.
Well, I've never been to a strip club, so I wouldn't know if I
I
love
love
strippers.
you. I don't go anymore, but, I mean, come on. Anyway.
It's pretty normal for a guy to go to a strip club at some point in his life.
Yeah.
I honestly think I probably will not be going until I go on my bachelor party.
Oh, don't worry. Your bachelor party's going to be fun.
Nah, I'm terrified.
If you let me organize it, it'll be fun. I
It'll
can't
be you and
guarantee other
Sim.
people.
It'll be you and Sim.
Oh, I'm gonna be Sim. We gotta plan
Sim's
this
gonna
one.
be the best man.
I
so.
doubt he's gonna see this, but Sim, if you see this, you know we gotta do what we gotta do to get this boy going a little, going
Little-
crazy,
Little wonky face.
little wonky face. You know how it is. It's all good though.
Man, I don't know what else to bring up.
I think that's about all that we got for today, honestly.
How long have we been talking for?
Well, it's been about an hour and a half.
Oh, we need to shut the fuck
Yeah.
up.
we be talking a little bit much.
So on that,
Wonderful rant of wonderfulness. It was quite wonderful having you all here and
all of you.
having all of our friends with us and, basically you, me, and Spanky just chilling.
Chilling.
He's just chilling in the corner having a good time. But, it was good. I'm glad that we got to share this story about Luis or Louis or Louis or whatever. I
Too
don't
many
know.
damn names to
If you
say that
know-
name.
Yeah, just put it down in the comments if you know how to pronounce it, because obviously spelling is going to help this situation.
No reason to be such a smartass, okay?
Hey, sarcasm is my middle name, all
No,
right?
sarcasm is anger's ugly little friend.
That's very true. Very, very true. I got to remember goose fraba.
What?
It's a saying from Anger Management.
I never saw Anger Man.
That's where that quote came from.
I know. You told me that the other day. I still haven't seen it.
That's okay. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thanks again for watching.
You know what's not okay?
What's not okay?
People who don't like pineapple on pizza.
Hey, you shut your mouth.
I said don't like pineapple
Oh,
on pizza.
okay.
I'm on your side. God.
I thought you said
I
that
said,
don't, that do
do-
like.
I said
oh,
do
okay.
not like pineapple on pizza. You asked. You
It's
know
been-
I asked for it.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long time since we had pizza.
Oh, do you want to get pizza?
I would love pizza.
Pizza sounds good. We're gonna go get some pizza, guys. So don't mind us if we gain 10 pounds by the next live stream,
Get
which,
in my belly.
which should be next Sunday.
I can gain 10 pounds by then.
I think it's doable. Sounds like a challenge. Challenge accepted. All right, guys. We'll see y'all later. Thanks again for watching,
Peace.
and have a great night.
Have a good one.